CXXII, TMG.
Seeing as we got you settled, and let's get into it. Tell us a bit about your sporting journey, how you got here. You're the manager of Agenda. How does it work?
So I started coaching a year and a half ago when I joined Agenda. I'd been looking for to get into the tactical side of the game for a minute, but the clubs where I was never quite. It was never quite that. Just before I
basic.
Huh?
They're basic.
Yeah, they. You go to some clubs and tactics isn't a thing. Like you turn up, they do the line-up 5 minutes beforehand, 4-2-3-1, let's go. And you try and go into any sort of detail, and they're just looking at you like you're speaking Chinese. You know, so
I don't think I've ever been involved in any club that's not.
Bro, it's
done
mad.
some
You'd be
sort of
surprised. But there's a lot of clubs where they're more social teams than competitive. Like you get somewhere kick about with the lads, and there's somewhere it's like at the start of the season, like yo, we're here to win stuff. So obviously, you know Samaluko.
Yeah.
We left our old club at the same time.
Yeah.
And then he joined Agenda straight away, and I was sort of clubless.
Yeah.
Just got married, so I was like, let me chill on the football team for a little bit.
Yeah.
And he was just telling me bare about Agenda. Man was telling me, they brought out the tactics board. Like we turn up an hour before, we go through the tactics. It's like bare in detail. I was like, okay, cool.
Mr. Lico.
Cool, say no more. And then he was like, because obviously it's an all black team.
Shout out the brothers.
Shout out the brothers. It's run by black guys, 4 black guys. Obviously we're more diverse now, but it's basically the man them that came together and made it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That caught my attention now. Because more times you go to these clubs, it's very laddie.
Yeah.
The banter's a bit, it's not really my sort of banter. The vibe isn't quite my vibe. They're going to socials in the pub in New Cross. That's not really my thing. So I'm now hearing, it's the man them. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me come and pre it.
Our socials going flipping danky or something.
Yeah, pretty much, like.
Or blank canvas. I come to a few heads there. Hey.
So I've come through to it was Old Roan 5-4 semi-final.
Oh yeah.
Where James scored that banger.
I see to an old one figure right there.
For real.
Oh, he plays with Old Roan.
We're going for the quadruple this season.
Yeah.
You can have that. We're not there no more. You can win.
But it was that one where Jerome scored the 5th one, running from the
Oh
halfway.
yeah. Jerome took Yoga's boy out.
Yeah. So I've seen that. I'm like, okay, cool. Like
Ragdolled him like Shaq.
I've seen the vibe now. I'm like, okay, cool. This is a bit of me. So I'm chatting to Sam. I'm like, shout your manager. Like, is there any coaching space? But Bastos was still there.
Yeah.
So obviously there was no space. But I think he just moved to Bridal Ropes at the end of the season.
Shout out Big B.
Shout out Bastos. So that's when the space opened up. So I've come down for trials.
Yeah.
And then from there we've just clicked, and it's been a love story ever since.
So you're loving doing this. You're loving this.
I enjoy it bare. Yeah, I really enjoy this side of the game.
And what is it about this side of the game that really?
I think I've always had a interest in the tactical side. Like,
is it a football manager thing? Is it just
since about 08, because you've had Wenger, and that 08 team, even though they weren't successful, they popped ball.
Yeah.
Like with Nasri, Fabregas, Leb, all them man. Van Persie had a bio. They moved the ball so well. Then off the back of that, you've had Pep come through. Then you've had Del Bosque with Spain.
Yep.
So in that 4-year period, you've just had this just bare tiki-taka team just doing bits. I've always been obsessed with that. That's always been... I'm not necessarily big on the tricks and flicks. Can we get the ball down? Can we control it? So from football manager days, FIFA, I'll send you the man them. If you watch me play FIFA, I'm playing like my life depends on the possession. So that's just always been my interest. So I've always known, like, even though I kick ball for fun, I always at some point want to get into this side of the game. So yeah, that's just always been my focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And in terms of tactics, do you have a go-to tactic? What's the way you want to play possession-based football? But how do you implement that? How do you make sure that you're implementing that kind of possession-based football?
Like the tactics board.
Tactics what can show the people.
So I'm very much a 4-3-3 man.
Okay.
Like that's my basic go-to.
So your Ajax guy, your Johan Cruyff is the...
but if you like, Melo knows me. I like to tinker a lot as well.
Okay.
Tinkerman.
So I'll try stuff. There's days I've done 3 at the back. It's worked. It hasn't worked. I'm always trying to like find different shapes, different
And
patterns.
And what is it about 4-3-3 that makes it the go-to?
You can stretch the pitch. You can get quite a lot
What
of
sort
depth.
of variation of 4-3 would you? what's
One
your
at the
go-to?
base. So
So you have your pivot.
your pivot, yeah, you got your two there. Naturally push your wing backs up. You've got your pivot.
Make sure you
there.
pan that to the camera when you're done as well, please.
You got your two there, and then your wingers for me are always your highest players, never the striker.
So you have the striker dropping into that.
Yeah,
10
striker.
space.
Yeah, so that's the striker. Wingers, because effectively they can pin the whole defense by himself, and then that leaves him as a free man. One of the things recently I've been trying to implement, but I'm not quite there yet, is finding ways to play out when he's picked up, because a lot of the teams we play will either sit off completely or they'll just go manic man to man and try and like squeeze us high. So you usually find that man there is usually marked out. So it's just about finding whether it's him or, depending on who I have available on the day, my left back. So it's a lot of just rotations in there, trying to get the ball down and play. So we're getting there, but I really think we're only at 40% of where I want to be at the moment. But that's the basic idea of how I want to play.
And then in terms of that, what are the qualities? So for a centre back, what are the qualities you're looking for a centre back? What are the qualities you're looking for your fullback? What are your qualities are you looking for?
So for me, my fullbacks have to be able to play like midfielders.
Okay.
Even if they're not necessarily in that midfield space, because you're so tight up against the line, you have to be technically good to shift the ball out. Because if it's breaking down there, it's long. Because usually they're the free man. When they're marked out, you got your wingers trying to cut that ball off there. You've got him there. You can escape through your wing back. So you really want them to be able to play
So
football.
they have to be very technically
skilled. Yeah. Obviously, your centre backs have to be good on the ball as well, but very athletic. Be ready to recover, because especially when we push all the way up, there's a lot of space in behind. So they have to be ready to trap back, go 1v1. So if you look at our centre backs, we've got Don, we've got AK, Sam Luco, Junior, Eli, Dre. All of them can do one-on-one defending. I'm very comfortable that if we throw everyone forward and you leave them one-on-one, it's 90% in favour of the defender. And then obviously for your pivot, you need everything. For me, that's the most important player there, because he's got to do every aspect of the game at the same time. So they've got to be your complete guy. And then obviously your wingers are wingers, wide men, fast, can finish, can create. Your striker, it depends what we have on the day. I don't mind a pure 9, I don't mind a false 9. I can play off either.
What's your go-to? Your ideal team?
False 9.
False
9, yeah.
It
Why
sounds
is
like
that?
the pivot is your main.
Yeah.
It's the thing that makes the system work.
Yes, yeah.
So do you consider one of your 8s also dropping in as a pivot? Do they have to have the same skills, or is it different skill sets?
Different skill sets, because with the 8s, I like both my 8s to go.
Okay.
So obviously sometimes I say 6, 8, 10, and it ends up like a bit of a stagger triangle. But really, like Melo will tell you, like anytime we're coaching or I'm going through tactics, both my 8s are
So you attack with 5, defend with 5, basically.
correct. Yeah, that's one of the big things I shout a lot. 5 and 5 at all times. If one goes, maybe he drops, we've still got 5 and 5.
So it's 5 on 5. You have those kind of principles. So in terms of those, that you have the 5 on 5 principles, what other principles do you have then in terms of your system?
Stretching the pitch width is a big one. There's no reason to squeeze the pitch. But a big thing as well is the fullbacks helping out the pivot.
Okay.
Because if you've got your wingers there, the striker, I've sent both my midfielders. You can't ask one man to do that. That's impossible. That's a suicide job.
So the fullbacks need to be.
Yeah. So they need to almost position themselves halfway there, and then be ready to come out and offer themselves. Or if they go, one of my midfielders be sensible. So at the very least, I've got 2. Ideally 3.
Okay. So then, in terms of that, tactically, how do you work on implementing that with the players that you have at your disposal?
In training, there's a lot of sort of possession work done, but it's possession with concept. So it might be a game where, so for example, we do a build-out drill at the end of training, for example. So it's 6 attackers versus 8 defenders, including the goalkeeper. The idea is for the 8 to be able to build up, and for the attackers to press the ball, win it, and score. So you're working on both halves of the game in one drill, or you might have a rondo drill where, say, you've got one group there, 2 men come across, win the ball, transfer it back. So it's a lot of possession within a group, counter pressing, transition, switching over back and forth. So it really depends on what I feel like training that day.
Okay. And then, so you've got all of these things. What happens when you don't have the players that can play in the system? How do you adapt to that?
You have to be able to twinker a lot. So one of the things I've done this season, and some of the men get onto me, I play a lot of man out position.
Okay.
So it's more about understanding, okay, cool, not only is that your position, but what's your skill set.
Yep.
So I've played Melo at right back this season. There's players who have played 6 different positions for me. So it's just about understanding, cool, I might not have this man, but who's got the skills to do what I need to do, even if you're out of position.
So, for example, a player like Melo, he's quite technically secure because he's a midfield background.
Yeah.
He's got the ability to do that. Maybe he's obviously got the engine as well. He's played
And
the
he can
midfield.
defend,
Yeah.
So right there, I think his man of the match award this season actually came from right back.
Light work.
Doing that job there, that.
How do you make someone? So you got a centre mid and you're telling them, I want you to play right back. How do you convince someone? Because that's those intangible stuff. How do you deal with the players? So that's probably the mental side is also another thing you have to deal with as well as the tactical side.
I think I have to give all the credit to the boys for that. No one really throws strops.
Okay.
If I ask a job of them more time, they might go, but as soon as they're on the pitch, they're doing it. I've never really had a situation yet where I've asked someone to do something and they're getting on to me like, why am I playing here? Why am I playing there? At the end of the game, I might even apologise, say, I'm sorry I had to play you there, but I really appreciate you doing the job. But generally, the boys are easy. Like, you put them out on the pitch and they'll play. Like, most of them, if they turn up on the Saturday, they're there to play. No wahala. So, in that aspect, I've not really had any issue.
What's been your biggest challenge?